Sean, is it possible to walk out of here tonight with some encouragement at the way that your team battled on the road against a really good team, or is it more discouraged by the things that didn't go your way and how the game ended?
No, I thought our entire group, coaches, players, handled a difficult last 3 or 4 days. You know, we had obviously Cam Kraft, who's not a huge part of what we do in games, but we lost him to a knee injury in practice. And then we found out, obviously, Des Claude, who again is an important part of our depth, wasn't going to make the trip. And then, of course, we're playing without Zach Fremantle. So, you know, look, that's not a comfortable feeling. But I thought we had a good game plan. You know, I thought our guys really focused, and I have absolutely no problem with their entering the fight, you know, competing, showing up to win. And, you know, obviously it was a great game. I feel like every time we play, it's a great game. I mean, if you follow our team, you know, the losses that we've experienced in this league have come down to the same thing, -1, and that was when we played at Creighton. We've also won our fair share of games like this as well. But, you know, it's hard because we just had some inexplicable things happen at the end to us, you know, just turnovers that, as much as I'd like to give our opponent credit for forcing the turnover, I think they were about as surprised as we were. We just kind of gave it to them a couple times at the end. And even on the last play, you know, you have to block out. The one thing about a last-second play, most of the time, it's not the first shot that beats you. It's the second one. And I thought that last play was the storyline of the entire second half. We could not get a defensive rebound. Marquette had 11 second shots. That led to them shooting more free throws. There was plenty of times where our defense was good enough on the first shot, but we gave them 2 and sometimes 3 different shots. And guys have to stay in and block out. Look, Marquette, they're a terrific team, and if they're going to beat you on the glass, they're going to beat you with quickness and hustle, not because they have the gift of size, but we just had too many guys. Again, game pressure is something you can't simulate until you're in the game. There's nothing you could simulate in the month of June or in practice. That feeling of the crowd loud, team playing for a Big East championship, you got to stick with what you do. You got to block out, got to take care of the ball. And we made plenty of good plays to put ourselves in a position to win. But in terms of encouraged with that in mind, certainly not.
Can you remember a game in which you shot as well as you did in the second half and still lost after leading at halftime? I mean, 70% in the second half. Is it just a matter of you commit enough turnovers, give them enough offensive rebounds, and that kind of makes up for it? Or?
Yeah, you know, what Marquette does a great job of is they force turnovers, number one in our conference, and they do a great job themselves of not turning the ball over. So in tonight's game, I'd say they forced about 11, and we gave them 6, but we turned the ball over 17 times, and they turned it over 7. But in addition to that stat, they had 15 second shots, including 11 in the second half, including the game winner, and we had 4. So you add those 2 stats up, the percentages that we shot in the second half didn't allow us to win. And by the way, we've done that like 5 different times this year. Yeah, against Butler, I'm not sure what it ended up being, but our second half shooting and scoring was very similar to tonight. But, you know, you have to play from start to finish. You have to put 2 halves together, especially against a quality team like Marquette.
Coach, even though you're able to limit Marquette to 5 of 22 from the three-point line, it's a season low for them, what else were they doing to kind of get, obviously you talked about second chance points, but what else were they doing to just get baskets and keep the game close throughout?
You know, the 2 things they did a great job of is they forced us into 17 turnovers. And if you look at that, they got 21 points off of our 17 turnovers. You know, that's the one thing about defense. You always got to keep in mind your offense. Our defense tonight, in terms of making them miss, was very good. That's why we had a chance to win. But their hustle and their effort to get second shots and our lack of physicality and lack of being able to get the ball really hurt us. It led to fouls. And, the turnovers ended up being 17. The last couple, I don't really have an answer for. We weren't ourselves, and, we just needed to protect the ball and go to the free throw line.
And those last couple turnovers get attributed to Sule, who, you guys might not have really been in this game tonight without him. Why do you think that was a particular issue? We haven't really seen him struggle in that regard this year.
Yeah, the thing about Sule is he was 10 for 15 from the floor, 4 for 8 from 3. He had 5 defensive rebounds, and no doubt he had some really costly turnovers. He ended up doing a lot of great things. There's a reason that practice counts. And since our Butler game, he hasn't been with us practicing. And I'm not going to make that excuse for him. But, it's difficult with the stakes as high as they are in a game like this to go from Friday at Butler and, not be able to practice Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. He went through shoot around today for the first time. And look, he did a great job. Played 39 minutes, 24 points. He's won us about 5 games at the end. For whatever reason tonight, down the stretch, he wasn't himself. And I attribute that probably to playing in the game and not practicing for 4 days. But, we just came from a loss at Butler by 1 point. It was a much different storyline. It was a group of guys that had no regard for the competition of the game. Tonight we competed. We showed up, thought we had a good game plan, played against an excellent team. It was a fantastic game if you're watching it. And we had an opportunity to win, and we did not do that. So we have to put that behind us. And we played DePaul at home. That's a team that beat us on the road. And we have to be able to bounce back like a lot of teams in this league do and get a big home win.